Hello, this video is for Mr. V's Silver Reading Group. We're going to work with the book Soccer. If you need to pause the video and go get that book, you can go ahead and do that. Before we start, I want you to just flip through the book, look at the pictures. You don't need to read any words yet, just take a look at all the pictures. Okay, think about what each page might be telling us about. Okay, all right, take a look at all those pictures in your book. And before we begin, I want to go over a few words that you will see in this book. Soccer is played on a field. Good. And in soccer, you're trying to kick the ball into the goal. That's right. And a goal is worth, this is the word worth, it's worth 1 point. Okay. The person standing in the goal trying to stop you is called the, say it out loud if you know it, it's the goalie. And the goalie is the only person who's allowed to use their hands to touch the ball. The person who's there making sure everyone follows the rules is called the referee. That's sort of a lot of words, but a few of those are specific to soccer, so I wanted to make sure that we went over them before we got started. So here we have field, goal, worth, goalie, touch, and referee. You're going to see all those words in here. All right. Now before we begin, I want to just review one of our strategies that we use when we get stuck on words. One thing we can do is to look for a chunk that we know. So if I was reading, and I got here, that's sort of a long word and it's a little bit tricky, but I notice that if I can break it down into some smaller chunks. That word is every, and I also know that word is one. So now I know that this word is everyone. By breaking it into chunks, it made it easier for me to read. Okay. Now, if I'm reading, and I got stuck on this word, I might notice that it has OI in the middle, and that, if you remember, is a letter team that we've worked on together. OI in the middle of a word says oi. Knowing that chunk can help me figure out that this word is point. Once again, looking for little chunks that you know. And if I'm reading, and I get stuck on this word, first I notice an ED ending. Okay, that's good to notice. I'm going to cover that up, see if I can figure out the rest of it. As I look in this word, I do see a chunk. ER is a chunk that we know. ER says so that's going to be cover. Cover is not a word, but it's close to cover. Okay, so that helped me figure out that that's cover. Now I add the ED and I get covered. So breaking these words down into chunks, looking for a chunk you know when you get stuck can help you. You do not need to be picking out chunks of words if you already know the word. Only look for little chunks that you know if you're stuck, okay? So let's all go to page 2 together. We're going to read this page together. Then you'll continue on by yourself. Soccer is a game that is loved around the world. Sisters and brothers play. Moms and dads play too. Many people play soccer. Now I want you to pause the video and read the rest of the book by yourself. As you're reading, don't forget to think and ask yourself if it makes sense what you're reading. And if it does, that's great, you keep going. And if it doesn't, you just go back and fix it. Go ahead and read the rest of the book and then unpause the video. Okay, you're back. You've read the whole book. Now we're going to read it together. Follow along and read with me. You need a soccer ball to play this sport. Soccer shoes and leg pads will keep you safe when you play. Soccer ball, leg pads. Two teams play this sport on a soccer field. The field is an open place that is covered with grass. It has a net at both ends. You move the ball down the field with your feet. Using your head is okay too, but you cannot use your hands. You score a goal when you kick the ball into the net. Each goal is worth 1 point. Net. Every team has a goalie. The goalie tries to keep the ball out of the net. The goalie is the only player who can touch the ball with her hands. The referee runs up and down the field. He makes sure that everyone plays safely and by the rules. Referee. The referee holds up a card to show that a player broke a rule. Many players feel sorry if they break a rule. The team that scores the most points wins. Players tell each other that they played well. They are good sports. Now I want you to go back to the beginning and pause the video and read the book one more time by yourself. After that, unpause the video. Okay, you've read it for the third time. Now we're going to write 1 or 2 sentences. In the last package of materials I sent out, you have these plastic coverings and some math papers. If you stick those math papers in there and then just flip to the back, you can use it like a whiteboard. So this book is about soccer, but I want you to tell me what you like to play. You can start that sentence by writing, I like to play. And then you finish that sentence, okay? And then your second sentence, I want you to explain what you have to do when you're playing that sport or that game. This book told us all about the things you have to do in soccer. Now I want you to explain what you have to do in your sport or in your game. And you can begin that sentence like this. You have to. All right, these don't have to be super long or fancy sentences, okay? Just 2 basic sentences. Notice that I've started with uppercase letters. I have spaces between my words, periods at the end. Make sure you're doing the same. Okay, after you're done writing those 2 sentences, you're done with this lesson. Silver Group, nice job. Remember, as you're reading other books, other texts, magazine articles, things online, as you're reading, you can find chunks you know in words and make sure that you're asking yourself if it makes sense. Great job, and I'll see you soon.